We understand that this is a high-profile case, but our focus is on getting justice for Steve's murder. If anyone is attempting to leak information, we trust Scott Anderson's office to investigate those claims and take appropriate action. We dug deeper into what leaked information Nick Perkins is referring to, and it is about claims a local radio host has made. Thursday, North Alabama radio host Dale Jackson said that he's in possession of the Aaliyah report and body camera footage from the night Steve Perkins was shot and killed by police. He says he would like to release it publicly if he gets an okay to do so.
Hello, Hammer. Now, let's have a conversation about naming a street after Steve Perkins. The story you just saw is about the case involving Steve Perkins' death. Steve Perkins was killed by a police officer in Decatur in the early morning when he came out of his house with a handgun and pointed that handgun at a police officer. Now, there are a lot of things to be said about this case. I'll give you one that is pretty simple. The way the cops handled this is not correct. Okay, they should not have lied in wait, waiting for him to come out and do what he did after he had done it before. And what that thing was coming out and trying to menace a tow truck driver with a handgun. They should have just gone to his front door, knocked on the door and said, hey, you were menacing somebody with a handgun, you're coming with us, because that's against the law. Okay? So Steve Perkins set these wheels in motion. It's very sad what happened. He didn't deserve to die. None of that's true. But he set the wheels in motion. What some residents want to do in Decatur is just a damn shame.
Decatur city leaders are right now considering naming a street in honor of Steve Perkins, the man shot and killed by Decatur police. The city's planning commission voted unanimously yesterday to rename Ryan Drive Steve Perkins Drive. That's the street Perkins lived on, but it's not yet a done deal. The woman pushing for that street name change must get 3 more people who live on Ryan Drive to sign off on it.
I totally get what they're trying to do, honor his memory, but, I just don't agree renaming it. Obviously nothing against the family or anything like that, but, I didn't move on Perkins Drive. I live on Ryan Drive.
I live on Ryan Drive, and I think a huge disservice to my community if you didn't name it after Steve.
If that woman does get enough neighbors to agree to renaming that street, the city council will make the final decision.
What happened to Steve Perkins is an absolute shame. It should not have happened. But it wasn't murder. Steve Perkins had already come out and menaced a tow truck driver earlier that morning, pointed a gun at him and told him to leave. Why? Because he didn't want his truck being taken. And there was all this talk about how he didn't have a gun, which was a lie. How his truck was paid up, that was a lie. How the tow truck driver was at the wrong house, that was a lie. Steve Perkins left that house with a handgun in his hand twice in order to threaten a tow truck driver and scare him off. What he didn't know is there were police officers there the second time. And during the interaction that they had, he lost his life. Nothing in that story should make it to where Steve Perkins has a street named after him as if he is some sort of hero. He is not. He is someone who lost his life by making a series of very stupid decisions. And it's very sad and unfortunate, but that's the honest truth of this. And the city of Decatur attempting to name a street after him to placate a mob that will never be placated is a terrible idea, sets a terrible precedent, and should not be done.
Every year in Alabama, we miss out on between $65 and $90 million in tax revenue by not legalizing sports betting here in our state. Money that can be used to improve our roads and bridges, or elevate our school systems and support our first responders. Contact your legislator to ensure sports betting is legalized in Alabama. Learn more at betonalabama.com.